Hello, everyone. Something kind of struck me. I posted in the community section a screenshot of Donnie Shitbag's description of what the Department of Government Efficiency will do. Of course, it's all abject horseshit. But what struck me in what the department description named after a crypto scam, this is how serious it all is. Thanks, MAGA. This date was put in there, and I'm like, why? What's up with this date right here? That their work should be concluded, I don't know, it might have said no later than July 4th, 2026. So I'm like, why'd they choose this date? Because there's always some scheme, scam, evil plan, something terrible in any piece of information we get from these fucking jackals. So I wondered what that was about. I saw that information, I don't know, a week or two ago, whenever Donnie Shitbags posted it. So again, the date, July 4th, 2026. What is this about? So then I hear about this phrase called recess appointments. And I'm like, oh, that's how they're going to get all these crazies in. Oh, and by the way, all the cabinet picks, they decided not to use the FBI to check their backgrounds. They're going to use some private firm or something to investigate Donnie's cabinet picks backgrounds. That is not the norm to do it that way. Gee, I wonder why they don't want the FBI looking into the backgrounds of all the people Donnie Shitbags chose to be in his cabinet. I wonder why they want to circumvent law enforcement. I thought you guys in MAGA loved law enforcement. What happened? I don't know. Except when they at the Capitol, right? When you're rioting. I know. It depends on the situation. I know. Context, right? Context. Anyway, let me get off of that. So this date, so recess appointments, this date in the Doge description, because, why not promote a crypto scam using a government office as you're firing people? Why not? Free press, right? Free advertising. Those guys love that shit. So recess appointments, I've been hearing different things. I read some of the legal description of what it is. I've read some articles about what it is and how it all works in the technicalities. It seems the Senate has the power. Now, I also read in the Constitution, it says that both chambers have to agree on any recess that's over 3 days. So if the House wants to recess for 6 months, according to what I read today, maybe I'm wrong, but I just read it, the Senate would have to agree to that. If the Senate wants to recess for any longer than 3 days, the House has to agree to that. But it seems the Senate has the power in this situation because the Senate handles these confirmation hearings for cabinet. Traditionally. So the Senate has a big say in this. So if Donnie can get the Senate to adjourn long enough, he can appoint all his people. I've read different descriptions of how long these people are allowed to serve as recess appointments and not confirmed by the Senate. Articles are saying up to 2 years. Now, again, the midterms are in 2 years, but hold on. Some legal descriptions I'm seeing is until the next legislative session they can serve. Now, I looked, how many legislative sessions are there? The description I saw, 2 per year. But at the end of any legislative session, couldn't they just repeat this process? Of course they could, and they would. But I don't think they're going to have to. I have a feeling the 2 years part is the real deal. Because that's when the midterms are. That's when the next election for, the Senate and the Congress is. Actually, that's when the re-election for House is. Excuse me. This is so fucking... I'm sorry, I have so much information in here. This is so... just evil, man. This whole plan they have. And yes, they've planned it for a long time. I can tell by the detail that's being thrown at us now, and the ideas being thrown out there. Unprecedented things. Just abusing the process outright in our faces. That's normal now. Thanks, MAGA. So let's go with the 2 years time frame, because I have a feeling that's where it's going to end up, regardless of what the Constitution or anything says. So these people can serve for a period of time up to 2 years as recess appointments. And coincidentally, just about 2 years from now, the Doge Department, named after a crypto scam, is going to conclude their work. So we're going to have panels actively firing any general within this 2 year period. They obviously want to get something achieved at the 2 year mark, July 4, 2026. The one thing they want to get achieved is the government efficiency department will have, I guess, fired everybody by then. And the money will be distributed and doled out and divvied up between, various oligarchs and presidents of other countries, etc. By then. And the military generals will be fired, the ones they don't like, by then. And that date, July 4th, 2026, what does that just coincidentally come right before, a few months before the midterm elections, which I have a feeling aren't going to happen. That's where I think they're going with this. That's why I'm a little stunned right now at the ramifications. Because again, when I found the first piece of information, the Department of Government Efficiency description by Donnie Shitbags in one of his posts with the date, July 4, 2026, I'm like, what is this? Why is that date being thrown out there? It's the anniversary of something, Declaration of Independence something, 250th or something, I can't remember the number, Independence Day. We all know that, right? But that's not the real reason that was chosen. It's right before the midterms. So again, let's look at this again. We have unqualified jokes being put in the highest cabinet positions, to the point they won't even let the FBI look at their backgrounds. They want an independent service to do it. That doesn't scream shady at all, does it? How do you feel about it, FBI? You could knock on doors about me. Let this just go right by, right? No problem with this? Right, I'm sure, no problem with spies in the intelligence office. I know, guys. But when millionaires call you up to knock on someone's door, no problem, right? I know. So again, generals fired within the 2 year period. Department of Government Efficiency finishes their work in the 2 year period. Recess appointments end right around that 2 year mark. And then midterms happen, but again, the feeling I'm getting from this information is that, there probably won't be midterms. And I have a feeling, get ready, MAGA. I'm sure you're going to love it too, because you guys are just begging for a dictator. It's your MAGA utopia, right? It's going to be great. Okay. Anyway, in 2 years, he's going to make a big announcement on July 4th. And it's probably going to have to do with the end of everything that this country ever stood for, that so many people claim to believe in. And you'll applaud it. I know. You've proven what you're going to do. But it'll be a really sad day. I have a feeling that's the plan. Some big announcement on that July 4th. 2 years from now. Where you'll have all the loyalist, sycophant generals in place that are, totally unqualified and shouldn't even be there. All the loyalist cabinet people in place. Own the Supreme Court. Got the presidency, got both chambers, House and Senate. Anyone that would pose any threat of dissent in government will be terminated before that point. I guarantee that. Except for electeds, probably. Congressmen, senators, they would have to be voted out. Or by their colleagues or by the populace. Yeah, so I guess the point I'm trying to make with this terrible video, because I'm just a bit stunned by all this. Now all the dates make sense. It makes a lot of sense. And what stuns me a bit is the amount of planning this all takes. This has been planned for a long time, and he's had years, and no one did shit to stop him. That has the authority to do something to stop him. The legit legal authority. They just let it all slide. They played games with it. Hoping the populace would be like, oh, no problem. He tried to overthrow the government and stole 3,000 class. Just let him slide. Let him slide right back on into the presidency. And make a mockery of this entire thing. With every cabinet pick, every statement, every crime, every lie. As the people cheer and applaud. So think in a time frame of 2 years, pinning all your hopes on voting for that congressman in 2 years that's going to save the day and get that majority back in the House. Is this the next fucking carrot we're all going to dangle in front of ourselves? Just like this carrot of the election, as we waited and watched as a person, again, who tried to overthrow the government, incited a riot, and all the rioters, they're going to prison left and right. They're all getting arrested. None of the people that planned it told them to come, let them, withheld the military, all that. No congressmen, no senators, no judges, nobody, no oligarchs that helped fund it. None of those people got so much as a slap on the wrist. They just let this all happen. And we all, everyone dangled the carrot in front of themselves these 4 years, or they dangled it in front of us. Just wait till the election, and this will all go away finally. This ridiculous cult circus, threat to our nation, threat to its existence. No one with legal authority did a damn thing. It was all a show. And we're all supposed to just be content with that. Oh, you just let that abject traitor slide? What would happen if you or I stole 3,000 classified documents? You know the answer to that question. We would not be running for president. We'd be in prison. Forever. This guy didn't do 1 day in jail. And he got to run again. And he got the keys handed to him. I'm glad I thought of that. This is why I do these just ramblings. The analogy I thought of yesterday. It's as if I robbed a bank, or tried to rob a bank 5 years ago. This is hypothetical. I tried to rob a bank 5 years ago. I got caught. They escorted me out of the building. The cops held me for 5 minutes and let me go. A miracle happened. I got to go home after I tried to rob a bank. 4 years later, I come back to the bank. I walk in the front door of the bank. The manager walks up to me and says, "Hey, good to see you. You're that guy that tried to rob us 4 years ago. Great to see you, buddy. Here's the keys to the vault." Have fun. How absurd would that be? Would that ever happen in reality to any of us if we tried to rob a banking institution? 4 years later, would the manager hand us the keys to the vault? Fuck no. Never. And if someone put it in a story, we would read it or watch it and say, that's fucking ridiculous. Guess what? It happened in real life. This ain't the movies. And it happened right before all of our eyes. And they want us to be content with that. And I assume, honestly, that the Democrats probably lost some votes over that. But anyway, the populace said, here's the keys. And law enforcement said, here's the keys. To the bank robber. This isn't conjecture. The documents were seized from Mar-a-Lago shitter. This isn't, rumor? So yes, it's as if the bank manager gave me the keys after I tried to rob their bank and got caught red-handed 4 years prior. That's where we at. In normal reality. You can't normalize this, man. There is no normal here. You know, and I watched as they pulled the switcheroo on America. They said, oh, we're not going to run Joe, we're going to run Kamala. And I watched as this big momentum and stars are getting involved and Beyonce and all. I'm like, wow, this all looks great. There's a lot of people at these concerts and rallies and wow, everybody's talking about it. And Donnie looks like a fucking abject idiot as usual. Same Donnie. And everyone just was acting like this was in the bag. I knew it wasn't. I knew when they pulled the switcheroo, it might not go well. So I was watching all this. So many people just like, this is in the bag. Look at Donnie. He's got his rallies are half empty. They're leaving. Look at Kamala. She's got 300,000 people. It's in the bag. Nope. That's what I kept saying to myself. Will this hype, or I hope this hype, translates into votes? Because hype ain't votes. Russian trolls online ain't votes. RNC trolls, whatever trolls, bots online are not votes. That's why Biden won last time. Hype at Beyonce concerts or whatever they did with Kamala doesn't necessarily translate into votes. People watched on television someone try and overthrow the government. We watched as person after person went to prison for it, all at the peasant level. All at the peasant level. People watch as the guy who incited it all and planned it all got handed the keys to the vault. You think that might have discouraged a few people? It definitely discouraged me. I didn't like watching it, and I still don't. I'm not saying I voted for Donnie Shitbags, though. Oh, no. I would never go that far. My point is, a lot of people probably saw that, and they're like, you know, what's the fucking point? He tried to overthrow the government. They just gave him the keys back to the vault. What is the point of this experiment? We just gave it away. Law enforcement gave it away. The top law enforcement, federal level, gave it away. For whatever reason, say he wanted to appear nonpartisan, Merrick Garland. He wanted to serve his masters at the, what's that called? The Federalist Society. He's really a Republican at heart. Whatever the reason, it don't matter. It happened. It's over. We all watched it. Everybody hoped and hoped and hoped that something would get done. Nothing got done. They handed him the keys to the vault, and a little less than 1/3 of the American population gave him permission to do it. Or not permission, co-signed it, voted for it. So one more time, let me just break down the real point of this video that's way too long. The real point is the 2-year time frame. I find the piece of information, July 4th, 2026. That's when the Doge office, crypto scam office, will be done their work, according to Donnie Shitbags. Generals being fired in the meantime. Replaced with loyalists, sycophants. Midterms coming up 2026. What happens right before 2026? Well, the Doge department concludes their work. And the recess appointments, well, their time's almost up. All the people that, the FBI can't look into. Because they're so squeaky clean, right? The FBI can look into me, though. They got time for that, always. If I were at the FBI, if I was the head of the FBI right now, I'd say, we can't look into their let's look into their backgrounds. They're going to be in the highest offices in government. We ain't going to look into their background. The FBI? Really? What are we paying you for? Whatever. Anyway. Yeah, so you're going to have non-FBI approved or non-law enforcement approved people in the highest offices in the land, because that's the way Donnie wants it. When you run in those kind of circles, you can't have the FBI looking into things. When you keep, 3 G's of classified documents in your shitter, you can't have the FBI poking around. Those evil FBI agents. So yeah, generals fired, non-FBI approved or non-law enforcement approved, non-background check people. I got to get a background check if the FBI looking at me if I apply for a job at Home Depot. You know what I mean? We're talking about Director of National Intelligence, Secretary of Defense, these powerful positions, man. Yeah, FBI, we don't want you looking into those people. We're going to get somebody else. Don't worry. Don't worry. They'll do a great job. Yeah, that's normal, right? I know the FBI is all Antifa and liberal and shit, right? No, not at all whatsoever. Ever. And it probably never will be. So yeah, non-FBI approved cabinet members. July 4th, 2026, the big celebration. The recess appointments almost come to an end. Midterms are coming up. Every liberal in the country has their, hopes, the next carrot dangled in front of them, the midterms. Oh, don't worry. We'll get the majority back in Congress. And, there'll be a gap stop or a wall against what the dictator wants to do in 2 years. Don't worry. It'll be better in 2 years. Don't worry. It'll be better in 4 years. Don't worry. It'll be better in 2 years. Maybe we'll get the majority here. Maybe we'll get the majority there. Don't worry. Donnie's going to jail any day now. People pay money to hear people say that shit on podcasts. I don't. As bleak as it is, I'd rather just tell the truth and speak what I'm observing. I've observed a coup, and just under 1/3 of the country supports it. And the dictator's plan is being more and more revealed. 2 years. Going to recess appointment everybody if he has to. If he can't get, the people to vote in the proper manner to make it happen. They can last up to 2 years. Doge office concludes their work in about 2 years. Generals being fired in the meantime. He already owns the Supreme Court, both chambers. What's he need midterms for? So I'm sorry, I'm not going to be one of the people that falls for the next carrot they dangle. I've seen this too many times. And I guess all we can really do is fucking hold on, white knuckle, and ride it out. And that goes for you guys in the cult too, because it It's not going to be all roses for you just because you voted for it, like it, support it, whatever, endorse it, brag about it, whatever, have a MAGA flag in your front yard. It's not going to go better for you. Hate to break it to you. I guess you didn't learn from the first time. Anyway, 2-year time frame. Beware.